Morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of Why Shy Why, where I basically take a summary of our client challenges and outline one particular one every week and outline some recommendations for those of you who might be having a similar challenge yourselves. Um, Today, I wanted to talk about the Agile methodology and how there are some hidden traps, you might say, for those of you that are hoping to transition into agile, whether that's whether you're a corporate or whether you're a small team, startup, established, it doesn't really matter. If you're thinking about moving from your current project methodology or current operating model over to agile, um, this is the video for you. Okay, so let's get into it. One of the key things with Agile is that people have been talking about it for years, right? And it's kind of lost its original flavor a little bit. And yes, there are people out there that say it's overused, and it may be, but that tends to be the way that tech sometimes works, right? Think about the cloud as a term. There used to be a small community of technical professionals who knew exactly what the cloud was, and then the media took it and it sort of got a life of its own. Precursor to cloud was the web, another great little word that a technical community knew, but now everyone thinks is all things internet. And so these things tend to sort of get a bit of steam and they take a world off its own. Agile is, sure, lots of people say it, I kind of believe it, it's overused. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And the reason why it's not a bad thing is because it allows for us to sort of permutate the corporate culture, just society, I guess, and let everyone know that there's this other way of thinking, this other way of being rather than doing, right? One of the things, though, that no matter who you talk to, whether they've been in the agile game for years or they are new to it, they all say one thing, and that is that agile is not static, right? Apart from agile, the definition of the word just being flexible and therefore not static, the idea of agile is about people, right? Um, the idea of agile is about individuals and interactions. So some of you might have realized that I've just quoted straight from the Agile Manifesto. So the manifesto is a set of 4 points and 12 principles around how to be agile, put together by a bunch of guys in a garage somewhere about 15 or 20 years ago. But here we are, so long, 2 decades after, thinking about what these guys were thinking about and implementing some of those things. So really, agile, you've got to think about it a little bit more holistically, right? Think about agile like you think about your health. Um, you never do health, right? You be healthy, right? There is a doing component. There's a getting up and going for a walk component, or there might be a getting adequate sleep component. But a lot of the health effects, the healthiness of someone, is in their head and in their heart, right? And so that's where you start with agile as well. You have to start thinking about being. And the problem has been that we've had implementations of agile in corporate and startup and even in society that really only leave behind artifacts that you can read and write, and processes, and those are the things that are copyable, right? But the things that the people who went through that implementation went through a lot more than just the process, right? And that gets sort of thrown away a little bit because it's not tangible. So um, one of the key things I find is when I'm meeting with people and they say, "Hey, Shai, we've done a little bit of research. I think Agile is great for us. Can you help us get over the line? We really want to transition." Um, they tend to come from big teams, from small teams, brand new startups to established corporates. I always think to myself, "Hey, why is this guy talking to me about um, doing agile when they should be talking to me about being agile, right?" But then, of course, it's an education piece, right? I have to be one of those people that go out there and go, "Look, um, doing agile, yeah, okay, awesome, everyone's doing it, but being agile is the key to success to an agile transformation." And you need to start thinking about how you're going to be agile and really start planting the seeds well before you think about the doing part, into your team, into your corporate culture, into all your stakeholders. Plant the seed as to how to think that way, right? Um, the problem is this, and look, I'll take my story as an example. a lot of developers, me included, are freaked out by Agile because it's change, right? We've been on the waterfall method or something just as boring and unsuccessful for many, many years. And so we don't like the change. There's a bit of fear that comes in there. We're really good, because we're analytical, we're really good at executing process, right? So give us a process, we'll execute it. Awesome. Change the process, and we're going to start freaking out a little bit. And that's kind of where we have to make sure that we have that mindset in place that change is one of those things, right? One of the parts and parcels of being agile rather than just doing agile. So changing processes, once you have that change process in place, you then start seeing some of those benefits of agile that people always talk about when they have done it right. Okay, so being agile is more about well, let's go back to the manifesto, right? Being agile is about customers. I'm not in order. I don't remember them in order, but customer collaboration, very key, right? The ability to deliver value in terms of whatever that is for dev teams, that's software or applications. Individuals or interactions, right? So how are you going to deal with your customers? How are you going to deal with all your stakeholders, your team members, your support analysts, whatever? And if these people need change, right? Change to your software, change to your process, whatever. How are you going to put a framework in place in your head, basically, of be able to handle that change without sort of having to reel or anything like that? So Agile is about those four things. Go ahead, please find the Agile Manifesto, have a read of it. It outlines, yes, it's slanted towards tech, but it outlines exactly what Agile was meant to be right at the start, and it kind of really is. So we've established that the hard part of being of Agile is being Agile, not doing Agile. Really, about 80% of the benefits will come from that implementation of the hard part, though. And it's kind of one of those things that are going to need to be done pretty much across the board. Anyone who interacts with your team that's trying to be Agile, so the team members, of course, project managers or product managers on the business side, senior execs, that might be the public, that might be your support analysts, that might be anybody. You need to start getting them to start thinking in an agile way. Yes, it does sound a little bit cultish, but there's a lot of good things about cults, and one of them is that you get a lot out of it if you put a lot into it. And in this case, you're not putting in a lot of work, but you're thinking about it a lot. So one of the important things, though, is that once you start being agile, you'll realize that doing agile is really not that important. The things that people can copy. This is why I give away free content all the time, because it's copyable, but it's 20% of the effort, right? When you're transitioning into agile, you want to have the ability to think in a way that you will change the process all the time, right? In fact, you should be changing the process every iteration or every sprint as you do your retrospective, right? This part of the process is change, right? So remember, the manifesto, fourth point, is about change. So for example, we're developing a program at the moment, which is basically a course for people who are trying to transition into Agile. And there's a lot of fear out there, and there's a lot of sort of confusion out there, and we're trying to distill that into some of these great things that we know Agile can bring. But one of the key things for me when I was putting this course in place was, how do I go about motivating people to think Agile, to be Agile, rather than just to do Agile? I still struggle with it a little bit, but our product, Agile as a Service, which is coming soon, and we'll talk more about it soon, but basically it's going to transform the way the team thinks, right? And the doing part, the implementation of Agile processes, is really just secondary. So if you're ever thinking about Agile transition, if you're thinking about moving from your current methodology, your current process, whether that be ad hoc, which is legit, or you've got a business model in place that just isn't quite working all the time, ask yourself this: what steps am I taking to being Agile and my team and my organization and all my stakeholders, rather than doing Agile? The doing Agile is basically, hey, Shai, can you please help? Right? That's easy. Easy. The hard part is going to be in getting yourself in a place where you can think that way. All right, so that's it. Enough about being agile. Guys, this is episode 4, so I've been doing this for a while. Sorry I ramble on sometimes. I get really passionate about agile. So if you do have any comments, please leave them down. Like, share. Please share if you think this is great content. If not, please let me know if it's not great content, because I really want to add value. If I'm not adding value, I don't want to be bothering you guys. Okay, cool. So that's it for the week, guys. I will see you next week, episode 5 of Why Shy Why. My name is Shy. I am from Soft Solutions. Until next week, stay focused.